Good evening, everyone. My name is Seven Sky Spelios of Seven Sky Music. You're watching me here on the Sevenadventure channel, and this is episode 3 of music reviews by Seven. This is a series that I've been doing for quite a while. It started as a blog review, basically type up kind of a little review talking about the atmosphere and just the pieces that I was reviewing in general. And then we branched out to SoundCloud to become more of a podcast style. And for this and likely future music reviews, I'd like to switch to a more personal video capture. Also, in this specific thing we're going to be watching today, it has video as well. So this is going to be fun. This is dark, creepy dance music, otherwise known as Silbido de Cucaracha by Edwin, Damian. And I have listened to this a little bit. I believe when I was getting requests, I may have watched the first half of this, but I don't really remember it. And yeah, let's just get into it. Here we go. Pausing here at 15 seconds. This is really cool. I really enjoy the panning of the piano. It feels kind of unsettling. I also enjoy the fact that the beginning motif we have here is very simple. It's not trying to cram your ear full of undesirable random sound. It's actually making melody. And it's doing a great job of establishing the atmosphere. And that latest thing that we just heard, where we have that variation that kind of hints at maybe a Phrygian type of mode, that kind of thing, that's really effective. I think that works really well. Let's continue. Okay, the imagery is, I believe these are cockroaches being hatched. That is absolutely terrifying. I really don't like that. Definitely unsettling. Definitely getting some chills. The other thing I wanted to say was, it's at this point, and this is only the first listen through, so I might change my mind on this later, but it's at this point where it feels like the focus of the piece starts to become lost. We had this very clear, we had that very clear idea. It had established itself in our minds, and now we've kind of strayed from it. And I feel like the blues walk down the piano, that's nice, and that doesn't stray too far. But when the synth line comes in and starts having this other melody on top of this already existing piano texture, I feel like we're adding a little too much too soon. Maybe it would help to have the introduction piano melody somehow floating over the top of what we're doing right now. But yeah, this is only the first listen, so not quite sure. Let's listen. So the thing that made me laugh was this cockroach on screen that's just like bobbing around. I don't actually know if its head is moving. It might just be its antennae. But wow, that definitely surprised me. and I think that's a really good thing. I can feel that it's related to the original material, but I'm not 100% convinced. I think that property of the like stabbing with the piano that the composer started with is really iconic, and I think it really works for it. But I haven't really heard much short stab. I haven't heard many short stabs since then, so I feel like we've kind of lost that idea, or it's already transformed into this longer kind of sounds like square wave stabs, but yeah, let's keep watching. These visuals are really crazy. I like that there's a motif of cockroaches. We haven't strayed as far as that goes, but yeah, here we go. So I get that the composer is trying to go for an unsettling feeling with this kind of random atonal piano line, and then build up the intensity by having this repetitive gesture of weird notes and chromaticism. And I think the repetition of the chromaticism really works. I think that's fun and does its job. But the kind of random notes to set it up, I don't really like. I think what I would have done if I was working on this is I would have had that stabbing from the beginning come back, but maybe as a low voice, or maybe I would have just outright repeated it, but with an octave up, maybe doubled with synths, that kind of thing. Because as it stands now, we kind of got done with this rave, basically, and now we have this confusing random piano line. And when it starts doing the repetitive thing, as I was saying, the do, I think that works just fine. But before that, preceding it, I feel lost as a listener, is I guess what I'm saying. I feel like there's just so much coming at me, and we're only a minute and a half in. A composer like Mahler or Debussy, really any of these composers, they have the ability to take just that stabbing idea from the beginning and stretch it into a 30-minute piece. And then by the end of it, they'll have a variation, or like 2/3 of the way, they'll develop it into something else. But we already have all these ideas in just a minute and a half span. And personally, that's what I'm struggling with the most as a composer, is limiting my ideas, really focusing my ideas, and really looking at, oh geez, this piece is only 3 minutes long, but it has like 20 ideas. What am I going to do? Imagine that you're the first time listener. Are you going to be confused when you hear this for the first time? Or are you going to know exactly where you are? And I think that rave section could have gone on a bit longer. I think it really could have built up, swelled up. I think if you're going to jump into it and really shock us, I think you should take us all the way and really drag that out, really make us uncomfortable. Because that's kind of this is labeled as dark, creepy dance music, so give that to us. Really indulge us. So now we're about a minute 45 in, and this is kind of what I was talking about. See, we have 2 new sounds. We already have the piano, which is great. But now we have this breathy low sound that sounds like someone going oh, oh. And we also have kind of like I'm not familiar with the name, sawtooth. I don't know what kind of a sine wave, whatever you would call that higher pitched instrument, whatever it's doing. So not only do we have tons of new ideas and new structural ideas for sections of the music, we also have new voices. So there's just so much new stuff happening that I just feel a little lost. Let's continue. Okay, now this is good. This is good because not only is it from the beginning, the piano stabs, but it's also, remember right after the beginning, there's like a bluesy downwards motif that the piano comes in with. This actually crosses the two. So we got piano stabs, but it's also following that kind of bluesy descending line that we heard from the beginning. So that's really good. I mean, I'd definitely say that this should come quite a ways later after the previous themes are developed, but I'm still learning how to do that myself, so I wouldn't be the best at providing insight as to how to stretch it out the most, but this is a great step, I think. Yeah, so there's some things that, like in this section, kind of confuse me a little bit. The way I do like the way that the high synth line is kind of punching, kind of stabbing. That's really resemblant from the beginning. It's something that we're familiar with. Is something that my ear definitely accepts. I'm rubbing my throat a lot because I have like a muscle that's really tight here, so don't mind me. So yeah, I like that, but I feel like the note content could make a little more sense because, at the end of the day, what am I listening for? What am I connecting to as an audience member? When you have this kind of high piercing melody, so to speak, we listen for that and we go, okay, is this a good melody? Why or why isn't it a good melody? Why does my ear like that or not like that? And for me, I like the concept of it, but some of the, there's just some attributes like the, pitch content that I'm like, okay, what is happening? I would like to give a compliment though to the beat. I kind of like that it's ever changing because it kind of, I like that it's not just a stagnant boots and cats and boots, because you're kind of going for a cockroachy vibe. You're kind of going for a vibe that is very creepy crawly and just kind of under your skin. And I don't think that kind of beat is boots and cats and boots. It's what you have here, you the composer, which is kind of ever changing, emphasizing the bass, but also having these scary, suspense filled high stabbies. Yeah, I think I've said stab a lot in this video. Watch it just be taken down for like murdering people tutorial. I don't know what words I'm speaking. It doesn't matter. Let's continue. This section is really cool. Not only does it have the stabs, yes, I'm saying it again, but it kind of feels like a halftime groove. It kind of feels like we're nearing the end, which we are about 2/3 of the way in, so it does make sense for the climax kind of to be here. I'm really liking this. I was gonna say, when that ended on that minor chord, if it were me and I was trying to convey that sense of suspense and uneasiness, I would have ended on like a full diminished or just some weird atonal chord that you just find from like randomly hitting the keys. I don't feel like, because as it stands now, it's kind of like, oh god, minor chord. But shouldn't it be something like weird chord, right? That could just be just me, and I have to include this in all of my reviews as a disclaimer, but anything that I say is purely my own opinion, and I am by no means an expert in any specific genre or anything like that. But yeah, I just give my own insights, and people agree with them, people don't. Really, it's, at the end of the day, What matters to you? Do you want to have really convincing melodies? Do you want to have really strong musical ideas? Do you just want things to move you in that way and you don't really care about how things, it's all up to you. It's all up to your ear. What sounds good to you? What makes sense to you? Or what doesn't make sense to you? Yeah, so let's continue. This is great. I like this. This is kind of like a recapitulation. So not only do we have the beginning idea with some chords thrown onto it to make it more developed and everything, but we also have flashbacks of these things that we've seen previously in this video. We have the birth of these disgusting creatures and the pretty much just the birth and adulthood, and that's kind of cool. It feels like we've made a full circle. It definitely feels like we've gone on a journey and we're arriving back at home, and I like that. Yeah, once again, combining the sense of finality, the sense of coming home with, these ideas that we've heard and we've seen before, and really building up the energy. This is really great. I think this is one of the best sections in the piece because I, the listener, have a sense of where we're going. I hear the things that have come before, and I hear the new stuff now, and I hear the development of old ideas, and I just listen to this and I go, okay, this is good. We're building up to the climax. I think we may have already hit the climax, but I feel like this is going to be one of these pieces that just like builds up and just explodes at the end and drops off. The point is, great piece so far. We just have a little bit left to go. Ugh, that is a pretty great image to leave off on. To be like, here's the birth of these disgusting things, and now here they are crawling all around. Now here they are on your kitchen table. That's pretty good. I really like that. Once again, I have goosebumps. It is kind of cold up here, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you creeped me out effectively. And I still have a little bit of time, so I'd like to play back through and see if there's any final thoughts I have. Yeah, I really enjoy the beginning. I think it's really great. You kind of introduce idea A, the stabs, and then I introduce idea B, which is similar to idea A, but it's definitely a different idea that contrasts, and you kind of play with those throughout the piece. And that's kind of what we do as composers. We introduce a couple things, then we just kind of mess around with them for 5 minutes or 3 hours. See where they go, see what happens. Okay, so that synth line, I like how it ends, because it ends with the same idea as the falling motif. If you go back and listen to that, it ends with the ba-da-ba-ba, or something like that. But up until that point, it just kind of feels like random notes. And trying to decide, up to it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you like it. But I'm still trying to decide if I like it. or not. And because I feel mixed on it, I feel like that's a good thing. Like I'm not 100% averse to the idea of having some random atonal notes that end with the main figure. Now that I've heard that it ends with a familiar figure, I'm more forgiving in listening to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think it probably sounded great to the composer, and that's what matters the most, especially when I'm mixed on something and I'm not 100% certain that I dislike it or anything like that. So let's continue. That boom, just dropping us off right there in this really strange, unforgiving place it's really effective. I think it's because I'm going to rewind a little bit, kind of, because I feel like this is a good lesson to take for all you people pursuing any kind of art, especially music, why that works so well. Yeah, the end kind of comes suddenly, which is kind of a good thing, but it kind of settles down very quickly. I think that's why it works really well. It's because we have this random piano line that just kind of bum bum bum, just kind of ends with a couple repetitions of the same note, and then we're dropped in. I think it would have been a lot weaker if it had just been like blah 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 blah. But then again, it might have been more surprising. But I kind of like that it resolved in a way. You know, there's so many ways you can do it, but I think the way that it's presented here is really good. If you want to really grab your audience's attention, really stick it to them and be like, ha, here we are. We're in the weird, dark, creepy electronic dance section. Dance for me. I don't think I pointed this out before, but I really enjoy how nothing is straight. Everything is off. And I feel like it's kind of hard to tell. It's hard to tell if there's quantizing involved in this. Quantizing, for those of you who don't know, is where you kind of snap the beats into place. You know, if I go ta 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 ta, yeah, that's not quantized. But if I go ta 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 ta, ta, you know, kind of robotically, that's quantized music. And a lot of these things feel straight within themselves, but when they're layered on top of the full structure, everything kind of feels, you know, off. Like I don't listen to this and go, okay, 1 and 2 and 3. It's all over the place, and I like that. There's a real sense of freedom, which also in this kind of genre of darkness and creepiness lends itself really well, because you don't have to you know, which one is more unnerving, ta 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 ta, ba, or ta 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 ta. You know, to me, and I just created these very randomly on the spot, so they're not really the best examples. But the point is that when you don't limit yourself within this kind of quantized 4/4 time structure, it's very freeing. And in this kind of music where you want to surprise people, it can be a lot more surprising to jump out of 5 and 7 and however you're counting it, to go straight into 4/4 versus, oh, we've already been in 4/4. Here's a bar arrest. Okay, we're back in. Okay, predictable. It's not like that. So, great job. Just do a couple more minutes on this and I'll wrap it up. I found out why that's so funny. Well, if we just talk about the music, the way it kind of it kind of builds up, but not enough to be like super crazy and suspenseful, and I guess effective. Yeah, let me rewind that again a little bit. Yeah, so if you close your eyes and you're just listening to the music, basically we're chugging along, and then the drums kind of stop, and we just kind of have this like, and some kind of high things go around. Basically, to me, the time kind of drops away, and this kind of texture fills in, but it's only for a brief second before going right back into it, and that's kind of comical. To me, at least. People are going to have different views on this for sure. But and then as far as the video goes, so the video's funny because it's all like serious and everything, and then when that thing that's happening, the textural thing that I was talking about happens, this image gets stretched out and kind of twisted a little bit, and then we're right into a cockroach just looking right at us. I don't know, leave in the comments below if you thought that was funny as well. But to me, that's really funny. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up with some closing thoughts. Basically, I think this piece serves its function. I could definitely imagine dancing to this if I was into raves or really crazy Halloween parties, things like that. I think it really works as that kind of piece. Yeah, and I think that's really all that has to be said. As far as, compositional technique and practice goes, that's not really that important if your purpose is just to have a really great dance piece, or have a really creepy dance piece. I think the visuals are really great with this too. If I were to do another lesson and not have the visuals, I think some things would definitely be taken away, because there's something very jarring and unsettling about having these orbs flying at you and having these images of cockroaches on food and just crawling all around. And the beginning is really good. I don't know where you found that clip, but that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I kind of like the cycle of life motif as well. Like the video, I think was really great. Was really on par with the music, really worked well. Anyway, my name is Seven Sky Spelios of Seven Sky Music. If you want to check out more music reviews, you can check out my SoundCloud. I believe I'm Seven Sky or Seven Sky Spelios on there. And if you're into games or anything like that, maybe stick around the Sevenadventure channel. We play a lot of games and have a lot of fun. So, oh yeah, I want to give a special thanks for I need to pull up the name again. Edwin, Damian, I believe that's the name. I want to give a special thanks to them, and yeah, hope you're all having a fantastic night or day, whatever's going on. And yeah, I'll see you in the next music review. Have a good night, everybody.